You live around here?
Used to a ways back. What are you taking photos of?
Oh, just of the lighthouse and the ocean. I live over there, just over towards Lower Prospect. I often walk along here.
Well, around here there's a lot of things you can't see.
What do you mean?
That big steamship crashed just over there. Almost 150 years ago now.
Oh, the SS Atlantic?
That's the one. 400 people were rescued. Sadly, 500 bodies were recovered. People from all around came to help. Lower Prospect, Upper Prospect, Terrence Bay.
Oh, I don't know much about it actually. That was 150 years ago?
Yeah, and I hear there's going to be some events next year commemorating it, bringing everyone together. It's going to be nice.
Oh, that sounds cool.
There's a survey you should fill out. Give your ideas, find out how to get involved.
Cool, I'll check it out. Wait, oh, can I take your picture? Wait, are you a Oh my.
See you in 2023.
Oh my.
Sure hope you don't forget about us. I'd love to see some of the families of the people we helped save. Nice day.
Oh, I didn't see you there. You live around here?
Used to a ways back. What are you taking photos of?
Oh, just of the lighthouse and the ocean. I live over there, just over towards Lower Prospect. I often walk along here.
Well, around here there's a lot of things you can't see.
What do you mean?
That big steamship crashed just over there. Almost 150 years ago now.
Oh, the SS Atlantic?
That's the one. 400 people were rescued. Sadly, 500 bodies were recovered. People from all around came to help. Lower Prospect, Upper Prospect, Terrence Bay.
Oh, I don't know much about it actually. That was 150 years ago?
Yeah, and I hear there's going to be some events next year commemorating it, bringing everyone together. It's going to be nice.
Oh, that sounds cool.
There's a survey you should fill out. Give your ideas, find out how to get involved.
Cool, I'll check it out. Wait, oh, can I take your picture? Wait, are you a Oh my.
See you in 2023.
Oh my.
Sure hope you don't forget about us. I'd love to see some of the families of the people we helped save. Nice day.
Oh, I didn't see you there. You live around here?
Used to a ways back. What are you taking photos of?
Oh, just of the lighthouse and the ocean. I live over there, just over towards Lower Prospect. I often walk along here.
Well, around here there's a lot of things you can't see.
What do you mean?
That big steamship crashed just over there. Almost 150 years ago now.
Oh, the SS Atlantic?
That's the one. 400 people were rescued. Sadly, 500 bodies were recovered. People from all around came to help. Lower Prospect, Upper Prospect, Terrence Bay.
Oh, I don't know much about it actually. That was 150 years ago?
Yeah, and I hear there's going to be some events next year commemorating it, bringing everyone together. It's going to be nice.
Oh, that sounds cool.
There's a survey you should fill out. Give your ideas, find out how to get involved.
Cool, I'll check it out. Wait, oh, can I take your picture? Wait, are you a Oh my.
See you in 2023.
Oh my.
Sure hope you don't forget about us. I'd love to see some of the families of the people we helped save. Nice day.
Oh, I didn't see you there. You live around here?
Used to a ways back. What are you taking photos of?
Oh, just of the lighthouse and the ocean. I live over there, just over towards Lower Prospect. I often walk along here.
Well, around here there's a lot of things you can't see.
What do you mean?
That big steamship crashed just over there. Almost 150 years ago now.
Oh, the SS Atlantic?
That's the one. 400 people were rescued. Sadly, 500 bodies were recovered. People from all around came to help. Lower Prospect, Upper Prospect, Terrence Bay.
Oh, I don't know much about it actually. That was 150 years ago?
Yeah, and I hear there's going to be some events next year commemorating it, bringing everyone together. It's going to be nice.
Oh, that sounds cool.
There's a survey you should fill out. Give your ideas, find out how to get involved.
Cool, I'll check it out. Wait, oh, can I take your picture? Wait, are you a Oh my,
See you in 2023.
oh my.
Sure hope you don't forget about us. I'd love to see some of the families of the people we helped save. Nice day.
Oh, I didn't see you there. You live around here?
Used to a ways back. What are you taking photos of?
Oh, just of the lighthouse and the ocean. I live over there, just over towards Lower Prospect. I often walk along here.
Well, around here there's a lot of things you can't see.
What do you mean?
That big steamship crashed just over there. Almost 150 years ago now.
Oh, the SS Atlantic?
That's the one. 400 people were rescued. Sadly, 500 bodies were recovered. People from all around came to help. Lower Prospect, Upper Prospect, Terrence Bay.
Oh, I don't know much about it actually. That was 150 years ago?
Yeah, and I hear there's going to be some events next year commemorating it, bringing everyone together. It's going to be nice.
Oh, that sounds cool.
There's a survey you should fill out. Give your ideas, find out how to get involved.
Cool, I'll check it out. Wait, oh, can I take your picture? Wait, are you a Oh my,
See you in 2023.
oh my.
Sure hope you don't forget about us. I'd love to see some of the families of the people we helped save. Nice day.
Oh, I didn't see you there. You live around here?
Used to a ways back. What are you taking photos of?
Oh, just of the lighthouse and the ocean. I live over there, just over towards Lower Prospect. I often walk along here.
Well, around here there's a lot of things you can't see.
What do you mean?
That big steamship crashed just over there. Almost 150 years ago now.
Oh, the SS Atlantic?
That's the one. 400 people were rescued. Sadly, 500 bodies were recovered. People from all around came to help. Lower Prospect, Upper Prospect, Terrence Bay.
Oh, I don't know much about it actually. That was 150 years ago?
Yeah, and I hear there's going to be some events next year commemorating it, bringing everyone together. It's going to be nice.
Oh, that sounds cool.
There's a survey you should fill out. Give your ideas, find out how to get involved.
Cool, I'll check it out. Wait, oh, can I take your picture? Wait, are you a Oh my,
See you in 2023.
oh my.
Sure hope you don't forget about us. I'd love to see some of the families of the people we helped save. Nice day.
Oh, I didn't see you there. You live around here?
Used to a ways back. What are you taking photos of?
Oh, just of the lighthouse and the ocean. I live over there, just over towards Lower Prospect. I often walk along here.
Well, around here there's a lot of things you can't see.
What do you mean?
That big steamship crashed just over there. Almost 150 years ago now.
Oh, the SS Atlantic?
That's the one. 400 people were rescued. Sadly, 500 bodies were recovered. People from all around came to help. Lower Prospect, Upper Prospect, Terrence Bay.
Oh, I don't know much about it actually. That was 150 years ago?
Yeah, and I hear there's going to be some events next year commemorating it, bringing everyone together. It's going to be nice.
Oh, that sounds cool.
There's a survey you should fill out. Give your ideas, find out how to get involved.
Cool, I'll check it out. Wait, oh, can I take your picture? Wait, are you a guy? Oh my,
See you in 2023.
oh my.
Sure hope you don't forget about us. I'd love to see some of the families of the people we helped save. Nice day.
Oh, I didn't see you there. You live around here?
Used to a ways back. What are you taking photos of?
Oh, just of the lighthouse and the ocean. I live over there, just over towards Lower Prospect. I often walk along here.
Well, around here there's a lot of things you can't see.
What do you mean?
That big steamship crashed just over there. Almost 150 years ago now.
Oh, the SS Atlantic?
That's the one. 400 people were rescued. Sadly, 500 bodies were recovered. People from all around came to help. Lower Prospect, Upper Prospect, Terrence Bay.
Oh, I don't know much about it actually. That was 150 years ago?
Yeah, and I hear there's going to be some events next year commemorating it, bringing everyone together. It's going to be nice.
Oh, that sounds cool.
There's a survey you should fill out. Give your ideas, find out how to get involved.
Cool, I'll check it out. Wait, oh, can I take your picture? Wait, are you a guy? Oh my,
See you in 2023.
oh my.
Sure hope you don't forget about us. I'd love to see some of the families of the people we helped save. Nice day.
Oh, I didn't see you there. You live around here?
Used to a ways back. What are you taking photos of?
Oh, just of the lighthouse and the ocean. I live over there, just over towards Lower Prospect. I often walk along here.
Well, around here there's a lot of things you can't see.
What do you mean?
That big steamship crashed just over there. Almost 150 years ago now.
Oh, the SS Atlantic?
That's the one. 400 people were rescued. Sadly, 500 bodies were recovered. People from all around came to help. Lower Prospect, Upper Prospect, Terrence Bay.
Oh, I don't know much about it actually. That was 150 years ago?
Yeah, and I hear there's going to be some events next year commemorating it, bringing everyone together. It's going to be nice.
Oh, that sounds cool.
There's a survey you should fill out. Give your ideas, find out how to get involved.
Cool, I'll check it out. Wait, oh, can I take your picture? my.
See you in 2023.
Oh my.
Sure hope you don't forget about us. I'd love to see some of the families of the people we helped save.
Okay, folks, I can hear me, but can you guys hear me? No? We had originally planned a Zoom meeting, and for anyone who had attended our previous Zoom meeting, it was a disaster. So Darren Millett and the church here offered this. It's a terrific setup. It's a little different than Zoom. It's a YouTube live stream, which I have seen, and they tell me their experience is the quality of the picture and the audio is superior to what people get out of running their Zoom meetings. The downside is that people who... Is this going to come up, Derek? It's not coming up? That's it? They're not going to show the screen? Well, these people want to maybe see themselves. Maybe, yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. See? They're right. But they've done it before and we haven't. I'm told there are 3 people in virtual world who are watching us. The challenge we have is when they want to vote or they have a question, they will text to our colleague Mike over here to a number 902-694-0840. You guys don't have to worry about it unless you want to mess around with us. And leave a text message with Mike. Now, if we could just basically take a minute to ask them to text their name to that number so that Mike has a sense of who the 3 are. So 902-694-0840. So there should be on the back table, you should have all picked up a package that consists of most of the material, if not all the material that we're looking at this evening as part of the AGM. The AGM is focusing on what we did in 2022, and through the amazing work of Margaret Sagar and a few of the people that were able to help her, they've come up with an amazing amount of activities and so forth. So before we go any further, I'd just like to give Margaret a round of applause for what she's done. Now, with that said, she's got quite a piece of writing that she'll go through to give you an update as to things beyond beyond December 2022. You might also, Mike, are you getting any text? Oh, that may be Quigley. Eleanor Quigley, who's...
No, that's Walt.
Oh, that's Walt. Say hello to Walt for us. Okay, that's 2, so I don't know the third. Walt, one way or another, belongs to Nora and Walter at the back, who have been handling the mess of paperwork I gave them. 2023 was our anniversary year, as you know. Some people, well, I'm not. Well, I am, but I'm not showing it. Our historian, Bob Chalk, wrote a feature article in the National Historic magazine called Canada's History. And we've got a number of off-prints, and if you haven't picked up one, pick up one. In fact, pick up two, because you'll probably underline things in one. You'll have one that's pretty pristine. So, okay, so just to let's get started. Whoops. We have a minimum of 5 people, so declare that we have achieved quorum, and so we can proceed. The first item, actually second on the list, is the agenda. If you want to have a quick look at the agenda. And quick enough, I guess. Can I have a quick motion to accept the agenda as presented? Somebody, sorry, can you, my eyesight's bad, that's why I got glasses. Sheila Donahue. Mike, you catching this? Okay, and second? Okay, that's Ariella. Just to be quick on this, anyone object? In the absence of an objection, anyone object to accepting the agenda? Crickets, so I'll declare the agenda accepted. Ariella. Okay, the next item is the minutes of our last board meeting, which was taken by Bob Chalk. Bob has not been, Bob continues to be a fan of the society and has been very active. He's just not on the board, but we do miss him in some respects, but in general, he's not missing a step. So have a look at those. Does anybody notice anything that's missing or incorrect? I've got a good memory because I think that was 15 months ago. Maybe further. Okay, well, the action, I guess, is to it says to approve the minutes. So can I have a motion to approve the minutes as printed? Somebody? Anybody? Ooh, Nora. You pointed over there. Oh, Sheila did.
And I'll second.
And Margaret second. Any discussion on it? No? Okay, all in favor signify by raising their hand. That's overriding, so I'll declare it as passed. Okay, there's a fair amount of verbiage that was evolved from 2 or 3 people, so have a look at it. This is more information. Margaret has pointed out that I've misrepresented one thing. When going through the events, I had, I think, a blessing of the boats followed by a barbecue, and that actually was 2 events. The blessing of the boats culminated in a reception at the community hall. Is that right?
That's right.
And then when the Blue Nose showed up, that culminated in a barbecue at the center, both of which were very successful. There is a list of volunteers, and I apologize, that is not a definitive list, but when I was writing this, and there were a couple added after the fact, like I should have put Margaret on the list.
You've got board.
Hmm?
You've got members of the board. That's me.
Now, when I sent this to our assembler, that would be Hamish, he added an element for the 2023 season.
That was 2022. And it's Laszlo.
Yeah, that came out of our minutes. Any observations or questions or?
There's a misspelling of one name. It was Laszlo Bone, who was married at the gazebo in 2022. Pardon? Your name's spelled incorrect.
Didn't I spell it R-O-S-E? Oh, the last name. All right. Sorry. Okay.
I didn't notice that one. Ariana has a hand up.
Yes, Ariel. Oh, okay, it's just one other thing. The mics aren't terribly great. Well, these are, and that is, but if you could speak in front of that mic, and then the people who are online, they'd like to see your pretty face, so, sorry, I shouldn't say that, should I? No. No? Yeah.
In the list of volunteers, I was just wondering about all the hours and hours and hours of the 150th anniversary committee members, and that's not listed there at all.
They're in my report, which is the next
Okay,
one.
but it's just under there for 2022 volunteers.
Yeah, but it's in the report that I did for the 2022, which is the next report. And I've acknowledged those people there. I
Oh,
hope.
this one's from 2021?
No,
No,
that's the chair's report.
That's my overview of.
And if you turn to, after John's report as the chair, you will find a report that I did for the 150 of what we did in 2022. And so we'll come to that in a moment. So are there any questions?
Is there
about,
anything more from
about John's
this report? Okay, Margaret, you want to go to the next one?
Do we adopt this? I move the adoption of the chair's report. Somebody like
It's
to
been
second
moved.
that?
Do we have do we have a seconder for?
Carolyn Jollymore.
All in favor signify by raising their hands. Ooh, this is going to be a vote.
It's hard to read everything like.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, sorry. No, we'll hang back a little bit.
Well, no, usually it's like if you kind of, at an AGM, if you present the report,
Do you want it read?
I don't know.
No, take your time and read it. I asked Hamish about that. Hamish's opinion, and that was, when it says consideration,
No, you don't vote.
it itself doesn't require a vote. So that's fine, it's all right. This document will go into our files, of course, and it's available for any members who wants to review what's been going on, so it needs to be correct. So if there's anything major, then we need to correct it. So I'll correct the spellings, and if people notice other things. How you feeling? Road to recovery. Road to recovery. Not there yet, but getting there. Yeah. This is even how we present it.
Yeah, okay.
Financial statements, just consideration, not approval.
No, I noticed, yeah.
And he's been through this sort of thing many more times, but it's at a different level. Did you attend the governance session the other day?
I went to bed actually yesterday. I slept. Was it good? Useful? So.
The majority of it wasn't, because she went through all the various types of boards of directors and their focus and all that other stuff. I don't think people would like to recognize their board, but then they'd like to know how do they structure it a bit, and that piece really wasn't done. You know, you were talking about committees and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
If he had some things to say about it, could have said more. In fact, when someone asked about it, she said that's in the 200 level.
See if everybody's finished reading.
Are we more or less ready to move on? So we've had a motion and a second to adopt the report as presented with correcting a couple of spelling mistakes. All in favor of accepting it, raise your hand. Well, this is still pretty close. 1, 2, keep them up. 1,
Well,
2,
there's only
oh.
members who could vote.
I know, but most of these, okay, no, that's, Mike, do you
people
accept it?
members.
Thank
Okay.
you. So that's fine. The reason we're racing through it is that if it's overridingly one way or the other, we don't really have to poll the people online. If they have an issue with, or a question, they will reach out to text Mike, and then Mike will present them. So at this point, we don't need to reach out to determine their vote. Okay, Margaret, you've got the mic
Yeah,
next.
okay. I'm going to take this off because I can hardly breathe and it muffles my voice so much as well. So what I did was I went through the year in turn as to the things that we were able to work on through 2022, with just a very few comments about 2023. So it begins in January when, I'll just sort of run through it quickly, when Patty Cuddle really encouraged us to do some more, get on with some planning, which we'd been kind of thinking about but hadn't done anything. And she did give us some money, and that really helped a lot from district funds, both at the beginning of the year and then later. And so we were able to hire. Well, I will say that I had absolutely no idea how big this job was going to get when I very blithely said, oh, I'll chair this committee. But first of all, we were able to hire Ariella Palke, who's here, and she made that film, which has just been shown. We applied very quickly after we had got together for this Irish Emigrant Support Fund for diaspora heritage. And that was because the Irish ambassador had visited the centre in 2021, and he was very interested in the story, the fact that so many of the people, almost everybody who lived in Lower Prospect and Prospect and Terence Bay at the time, not so much Terence Bay, but were of Irish descent, mostly via Newfoundland. So we got on and put in an application, and we did get some funding later in the year for various items for the year. And with new contacts with the Irish community, we were looking for a genealogist because we had hoped to be able to offer some remuneration through that grant to somebody to do some research into tracing descendants of both rescuers and survivors. But we didn't get sufficient funds to pay her, but Peggy Chapman, who is a direct descendant of Edmund and Elizabeth Ryan, who had key roles in the rescue and care of the people, she has done some things on a volunteer basis, which is wonderful. So we are most appreciative to Peggy for the volunteer work that she did. And we found Peggy through Nat Smith, if some of you might remember him. He worked for the for the CAP Center with Barb Allen when he was a student, and has roots in Prospect. Then we had the video and the survey. I'm down to number 7. We had 3 community meetings, one virtual, one at St. Joseph's Hall, and then later one at the center. And a whole wealth of activities and events and ideas were brought forward, which we explored with an expanding steering committee over and above myself and Colin. We had to consider the application to Heritage Canada under the category of building community through arts and heritage for a special anniversary. And in November, we received notice of funding in 2 installments totaling $73,000. And our application was praised, which was great. Ariella was a huge help with that application, as were a number of other people who were already engaged at that time in thinking of what we might want to do. We had workshops, concerts, various things like that on our list of things to do. And then through May and October, we looked at ideas for Heritage Canada's legacy funding for permanent projects. And I think we had in the end 9 components and got cost estimates. We had several meetings with Grant Murray, who's a museum designer and consultant, concerning transforming the interpretation of the story in the center, which will be the largest endeavor to update the panels, to put more focus onto the community rather than the ship and the shipping line. So we worked on that, and I'll tell you that the narrative sections of these grant applications are very tiresome because they ask you the same question, but in a slightly different angle. So you find yourself repeating things all the time. And filling out their budget estimate was a real headache because we had to fit everything into the categories that they have. I think these are mostly done for where somebody is doing one major project rather than smaller things together. So we eventually got this in October, much later than we had initially hoped. And it wasn't until this summer that, after more discussion with Heritage Canada, we heard that we would receive funding for 7 components. Unfortunately, Power to the Gazebo, which was one that we had really hoped to get, was deemed ineligible. And also, surprisingly, the educational programs for schools. What could be more permanent than having ongoing lesson plans? I did argue a bit about that one, but I didn't get anywhere. But we do thank Sue Corbett, who did a lot of work, and Pauline did as well, for Pauline Halstead, for lesson plans. And we hope that we can get that material into the local schools. There is a bit of an update on the legacy funding in the September newsletter, and at the end of the business for 2022, if you'd like me to talk a bit about 2023, I can do that. We had hoped actually to have a slideshow, but my computer crashed at the same time as I got COVID, and that didn't happen. So my apologies for that. Okay, and number 11 about the Peter Braithwaite Architecture Studio. They had done some work for us at their request to the Society in 2021. And in 2022, they had designed a metal sculpture that we thought would be perfect to put in Halifax. It didn't kind of fit in Terence Bay. And we really wanted to have something on the Halifax waterfront. Unfortunately, Develop Nova Scotia turned that down. And we have now decided at this point in time that this sculpture is now on hold in hopes of finding a Halifax location and a corporate sponsor. There is a possibility that when RFPs go out for the new park, where the, where the overpass is being, yeah, thank you, where that's coming down, that it might be able to go there, but it would be wonderful if we could find a corporate sponsor to fund pretty much all of that. It's not a lot of money, really, for a corporate sponsor. We also made applications to Community Culture, Tourism and Heritage, and they have given us 2 grants, one to support the anniversary funding and one to support the legacy funding. And then another opportunity arose through Discovering Digital Museums Canada, and Ariella, in partnership with the tech company Stitch Media, pitched an idea to tell the story online through interactive means. We might want to ask Ariella some questions later about that. It was received with great enthusiasm, and the application was submitted, and in 2023, approval of funding was received. Because DMC has a meticulous oversight of all of this material that will be associated with their name as well as with the SS Atlantic's name, it's going to take 3 years to complete this, a long time. And then there were other networking efforts with all kinds of organizations and individuals. We made a list of potential major corporate donors, doing some research into who some of these people were, and we did make one effort to make contact in December, but we did not have the person power to follow through at that time. And by the end of 22, it was quite apparent that the Society would need to engage someone on a contract to work with us further in 2023, using some of our grant money. So in addition to the board of directors, the following people gave time to this preparation. And I may have missed people. I haven't had my computer available to me while I was doing this, which has been a bit of a drawback. So this is my memory. So Lynette Richards, Ariella, Mike Robertson, Paula McKay, Melinda Spooner, Judy Pelham, Paul Allen, Ellen Carusetta, Linda Wozniak, Sheila Lamplugh, Pauline Halstead, Donna Saunier, Kathy Colback, Travis Humphrey, Michael Duggan, Walter Kemp, who, as you know, has passed away this year, and D. Ryan Meister, and Bob Chalk, and also Colin, who continued after he had left the board. So I don't know if there's anybody else that I should thank, please let me know. And we also thank Patty Cuddle for her continuing support and interest. And in retrospect, we might have been able to better use our volunteers and keep in better contact with some of the people who'd offered to help but didn't know how. But we may have been able to do that more productively, but we did our best with what we had available. So I respectfully submit this. And if there are any serious omissions, please let me know now. And I think we'll keep the questions about what has happened in 2023 and any questions you have about the spending of the money, because pretty much all of that happened in 2023. apart from some funding to pay the museum consultant and to pay Ariella throughout that year.
Since you have a head of steam, why don't you just carry on to 2023, and then we'll get back to the boring part of the presentation later.
Do you want to do that? Is there anything I've missed in 2022 that I really should not have done?
You'll put Colin's name in there?
Yeah, I mentioned Colin, yeah. He was mentioned at the beginning, but he was a board member at the beginning of the year, and I'd forgotten that he left in the middle. And the board members who helped too. I mean, John did a lot of work, and so did Michel Mercier, who was on the board then, and various other people too. Mike joined us for some meetings too.
So do you want to do 2023? Do you want to come back to it?
I think I'd rather come back to it.
Okay.
So, does that make sense? Ariella?
I think Emily was also at some of those.
Oh, that's right. Thank you very much. Okay, my apologies, Emily, who I think was going to be on watching live stream.
Yes, she
So,
is,
Emily Burton, we thank you very much too, and for your continuing interest.
The other person
Thank you.
might be D. Ryan Meister.
No, I've got Dee here. Dee's on here.
No, on the remote.
Oh, okay, but Dee, I have remembered Dee.
Yeah.
I forgot Emily.
Okay, so the next thing on the agenda is the financial papers, I guess, financial report for 2020, 2022. This particular formatted report is what it was submitted to Joint Stocks. Hamish Malkin, who joined the board a little over, well, he joined to help us a little over a year ago and helped us prepare the year-end reports for 2021, and he's been a tremendous help in structuring the financial, I'm not speaking out of turn, am I? No, and helping us structure the financial organization and so forth, so this is his work.
And as some of you may remember that Valda had been our treasurer, and as mentioned in John's report, she really wanted to resign from that position earlier last year, and we didn't find anybody at that time. So Hamish was giving us advice while John and managed a lot of the actual sort of banking and so on. So John Corbett took on a lot of work, and Hamish was a great help. So Hamish joined the board in 2023 and has prepared this, and he's been really helpful with all our financial management. So and he couldn't come this evening.
Do you have any questions with this? The one item that Hamish thought someone might raise a question on is something called deferred revenue. It comes in 2022 because we received it, but it's deferred because the expense line will be in 2023, so it's reflected here as deferred revenue. Yes, Ariel. The question was members' equity. Well, the society owns some stuff, and the board doesn't own it. The members own it. So the society has, that's society's equity. Fair enough? What do we own? Well, we have fridge, stove, we have value in the building structure that we have. We have a value with respect to the artifacts that are in our possession.
Computers.
What else do we have?
And the gazebo.
Well, that's part of the building structure and all that stuff. So unfortunately, a lot of that depreciates year over year, so we end up having to insure it to try to protect our equity and that sort of stuff.
There's quite a lot of items in here that I don't really know what they are. And is there any way for somebody to kind of go through this
What,
paper and explain it?
what questions do you have? Are you looking at revenue or on the second page?
Yeah, okay, so the first page, then the question marks, is that a GIC or something that we have that we can't touch? Restricted?
The question is, on the first page, there is restricted funds. A few years ago, the Society established a plan, if I understand it correctly, to build, Rose, you probably are on the board at the time, but they developed plans to build a building to basically to extend the storage and display space that we have. So through one means or another, they developed a fund of some $10,000. I think that's what that number is.
It was put into a GIC.
And so that money was declared as restricted funds that we don't touch until or unless we get to a position that we plan to do something that generally fits into the guidelines of the usage of that fund. So I think Hamish, the question marks, in order to help us balance the budget and do a variety of other things, that's a fund that he's got his eye on, and what he might recommend, and we can only do this sort of thing with some level of members' review, to change the restrictions on it. Is that
Okay.
more or less right, Rose, from your recollection? Yeah. It's too bad Velda's not on the line because she has this
She would
stuff.
know. Well, I remember that too. That's correct.
Yeah.
And then the 150th anniversary restricted funds are grant money that could only be used for anniversary things.
Yeah, it's in our bank account, so.
But
we
it
can't-
came into the
we-
bank
We
account.
can't touch it
Until it was needed.
until used, yeah.
So you'll see that in 2023, next year, that money gets spent.
So can you explain what liabilities and members' equity is?
Well, members' equity is what we just explained,
Curious why we don't call it the society's equity. I'm just curious about semantics, because I think
because the society itself is a legal organization. The ownership of the society are the members. So it's the members that own it. It's the members who, if the equity in our assets depreciate, it's the members who are losing it, not the board or any other organization or the church, for lack of a better outside influence.
So I know that we went through a process of updating the governance of the SS Atlantic
Yes.
some years ago, and I think the language that we have in there should be reflected here, no?
Okay, I understand what you're saying, but we're relying on somebody whose career program is to develop these types of, those are the words that he chose, and regrettably, when the board sort of looked at this, we didn't have that insight. If it's a major issue, then we'll document it and take it up at as soon as we can go through
Hamish
it.
is a CPA.
And so liabilities, can you explain that to me in common language? So what are our liabilities, for example?
The accounts payable, right?
Hmm?
That must be.
Accounts payable
the
is
accounts
one liable,
payable.
something that we're obligated to do.
So that might have been checks that hadn't been cashed or bills that were still to be paid at the end of the year.
Do you have another one?
And then then it's the revenue and expenditures
Yeah,
are broken
no,
down.
Lynette?
It's just that I know we're going to have to approve this, and I'm not sure I'm understanding it. So I think
So-
it's important to understand.
Yeah, so what's your question?
So does liabilities and members' equity, is that just a separate section from the assets and has no relationship to it, or do some figures appear in both?
Well, that's a title, and I would assume that it would carry the whole section down to there's assets and liabilities.
To be honest, I'm not quite sure how that fits in, and I'm sorry that Hamish isn't here to answer that. But I'm pretty sure that the liability is the accounts payable, and the deferred revenue is for 2023, and the members' equity is related to the value of everything that we have, that we own. And then it all adds up to that 90,000.
Well, these are two. One's a balance sheet and one's a statement of operations. Yeah.
Can you text Hamish?
No.
Capital assets are 5,000, but the members' equity is 27,000.
I can't answer it. I'm sorry.
Okay, this is your meeting. What would you like us to do? We can call a separate meeting and have Hamish available to walk through this.
He had another meeting, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, he's not available.
I guess I'm just thinking, I'm probably not the only one in this room that doesn't really know what we're looking at here. Or maybe I am.
Okay.
Well, does
So
anybody else want to
do we have
offer
a
an
motion?
explanation?
You want to stage a motion as to how you'd like us to move forward?
Can we have Hamish email out an answer to that question?
Well, I think Margaret, if there's one question, there's a whole slew of questions.
Well, that's true.
So I think the option is to defer this to a separate members meeting where he can explain.
On the second page, the whole bit at the bottom, I don't know what that means. Deficiency, excesses of receipts or disbursements, and what are those?
Just a second, I don't know if,
Yeah. I can
that
just-
wasn't us? Okay.
Oh, did Valda
sorry.
have an answer for us?
No, she just said she's online.
Oh,
Oh, good,
okay.
good, good.
Okay. Valda didn't prepare this.
Okay, well, I think at this point we're stuck. Unless there's someone here that can explain these terms. Yes, sir. Yeah, come on up here. Can you? You're a financial person and can explain this.
Yes, I have some experience with a lot of nonprofits and I can explain what these terms mean.
Do you think this mic is on?
Is it on?
Is it functioning, Darren?
Is it on? Yes.
There it
Thank
is.
you. So, in accounting term, assets should be equal to liability and equity. So, if you see all of your assets, there's three things. Asset is what we have at this point in our hand in any capacity, that's the asset. Liability is what we need to pay or someone owes to us, and the equity is like difference of asset and liability. So there's three different terms. At the end of the year or any given time, asset should be liability plus equity. And the numbers showing, we have like in end of 2022, 90,000 was the whole asset, all the assets together. Some are cash, some are capital, all the assets together is 90,000. On the liability side, liability is 64,000 and the equity is 26. So 64 plus 26 equals 90. So those are the three things should match, and here it's matched. And in terms of the equity, that could be anything. It contributes the cash, the capital, all of these contribute to this equity. And in the second page, the deficiency, if you see, it's carrying over from the last year. So if you see at the end of 2021, it has 31,000 as members' equity. And this year, the deficiency is 4,000, so that because of depreciation mainly, the asset goes down for 4,000. So that's the difference. So start of the year, the asset was the equity was 31,000, end of the year is 26,000. So throughout the year, because of depreciation, the equity became like 26,000. Any more questions?
So I'm assuming the revenue and the expenditures also
Ye-
balance like the previous page?
Doesn't have to be. So the first page is the snapshot of December 31st. This is a snapshot. This is the one picture. But the second picture is what happened throughout the year. So what happened throughout the 2022, all the revenues are here, all the expenditure is here. So there should be a difference, obviously. So there is a difference of $4,000 here. So the revenue was 52,000, expenditure 56,000. It doesn't have to be balanced because obviously there will be some deficiency or excess amount. So here, if you consider only the 2022, there was $4,000 deficiency. So the society earned 52,000 during the year, but the expense was 56,000. So that's the activity during the whole year.
And is it acceptable to have a deficiency?
I think each society have their own policy, how they manage. It's not like in terms of the number, it's not very big. And also you see over the years, there was a excess revenue in 2020, 4,000. In 2021, it's like 9,000 deficiency. So it's like if it balance over the term and there is like an excess backup fund, it's okay. So if there is nothing as a restricted fund or operating fund at the bank, there could be a challenge. But here, I think it should be good because there is some, at the end of the year, there is also you're carrying some money over the year. So there is, it is the snapshot is the whole year, but you also have some money carry over to the next year. So that should be good, but the society can decide, okay, we want 10% or 5%, whatever the percent deficiency is allowed. You can make a policy around that, but seeing that the amount is not that big, very big. It's manageable.
That answers my questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's great. So do you have any more questions about the revenue and expenditures? Anybody? Sorry.
That's all right.
I'm a co-chair.
So thank you very much, incidentally, for that explanation. In the absence of any other questions, can I have a motion to accept the budget as printed
budget.
and
The
presented?
statement, not the budget.
You're moving acceptance as presented, okay? Seconder? 2, that's Scott Bulges. Any more discussion? All in favor as accepting the financial report as presented? Raise their hand. Okay, passed. Okay. See what is next. Is that the obvious one?
Election.
Okay, so Margaret does this. The society every year at its AGM, the board of directors steps down. So for a period of time, there's nobody driving the ship. And the way the society's done it in the past is we go through a nomination and election and a bit of strong arming, I guess, maybe sometimes, to establish a new board.
I just mentioned that we did delay this annual meeting from earlier this year, partly because of being so busy in April and May, but also because we hoped that we would be able to attract more people through our 150 activities, and I think that has paid off. So according to our bylaws, as John just said, current directors resign but may offer for re-election. And if, by our bylaws again, if a director resigns between AGMs, that person may be replaced in the interim and ratified at the next AGM. But we cannot appoint additional directors in between AGMs, unless there's a vacancy. Our maximum number, according to our Joint Stocks Society, is 15, which would include 4 executive members. So the new board of directors elected at this meeting will elect the new executive at their first meeting. We don't elect the executive tonight. Several of the current board have been directors for a very long time, some of us, and wish to retire. And so some are not offering for re-election. The following are offering for re-election, but only on an interim basis, desiring to leave when they can be replaced. Does that make sense? So John Corbett, Mike Roberts, Hamish Malkin, and Nora Straps are in that category. They will leave when they can be replaced. And Val de Kemp, she is indefatigable. She's one of our founding directors, and she really wants to stay connected and to help provide the historical continuity to the new board. So we're grateful for that. And then for new nominees, we are very delighted to offer these names for re-election. Shirley Jolly-Moore, and those of you who are here might like just to introduce yourselves actually in a moment, but I'll just go through the names. Shirley couldn't be here, but many of you probably know her as the former executive director of the PRCC, and now she's no longer working for them. She told us that she would love to join our board, and she is a descendant of Mary Jane O'Reilly, who was a Clancy on the island, whom all the survivors went through her house. So it's wonderful to have Shirley involved. Walt Straps, who's watching, is involved in business and project management, working in bioengineering, is it? Mm-hmm. Yes, okay, good. And Walt has volunteered to take over looking after the Digital Museum Canada project, and he's already been working with a few people to get orientated to what's needed for that. And then Derek Rayner. Derek, you are here. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Derek Rayner, grew up in Terrace Bay.
Come over here. Yeah, come over here. That's a good idea.
Start singing.
You can do your
Derek
voice.
Rayner, I grew up in Terrace Bay. My dad was one of the founding members of the SS Atlantic. I moved out when I was fairly young, but I have a real tie to the community. I love Terrace Bay and Lower Prospect and all the stories that are told down here, so I'm anxious to be part of this committee.
And your background?
My background is newspaper. I was in advertising for 30 years, I guess, with the Chronicle Herald and the Daily News and the Weekly News and stuff like that. So, yeah, quite involved in corporate, dealing with the corporate world and the business. So I think I can help the board out that way with some fundraising and anything else.
Corporate fundraising.
Yeah, so hopefully, yeah.
Fantastic.
I have lots of contacts. So.
Thank you, Derek. Gordon Steeves, he couldn't
away.
come. He's apparently away in Moncton right now, so we gather. And I can't really tell you a lot about Gordon, I'm sorry. Charlene Lovies. Charlene's not here. No. Charlene has financial skills for sure. She must be a CPA. I don't know. Anyway, she used to be in charge of payroll for the armed forces in Canada, for the Defense, Department of Defense, I think it is. But she lives in Brookside, and we're really glad to have her. And Scott, you are here, Scott Boltes. So would you like to come and introduce yourself, please?
I'm not really sure on the board, but sure.
Oh, yes, you are.
Come on.
He's also one of our illustrious hosts this year in the post-student era.
He's what?
He's a host in this.
My name is Scott Balches. I've lived in Terrence Bay about 12 years now. with my wife, who has lived in the area a lot longer than I have, about 25 years, I think Ann has been around. I'm a bit of a historian and folklorist. Was employed until recently as an animator. You would see my work on Netflix through the series Barbie, A Touch of Magic, and the Barbie movie Skipper and the Big Summer Adventure, Baby Sing Adventure. Have been an animator for about 30 years, going back to, well, some of you might remember Reboot. That was my first big one. And Beast Wars on YTV. But at the moment, I'm currently unemployed and about to go back to my security job, guard job at Commissionaires, which actually has been a lot of fun because I get to meet a lot of interesting people, see a lot of interesting things, and occasionally have to deal with the occasional ghost. Had the job for 2.5 years during COVID, and I think I met about 5 or 6 ghosts in that time. Keep hoping to get assigned to Citadel Hill, but that hasn't happened.
Scott is also a member of Search and Rescue.
Yes, I am. It has been a busy summer. A lot of missing people this summer. Had to evacuate people during the fires, and then man the barricades along Hammond's Plains during the fires. And then came the floods, and then we were looking for victims for that out at Brookland and Gold River. And back to more missing people again. So at the moment, I am currently trying to get the house ready for winter and working on my second book of comics that I draw called Scott Scribbles, which are on Facebook and Instagram. Collection of comics about me and my wife and our beloved German Shepherd Bella, as well as a lot of little humorous pokes at local folklore, from buried treasures to pirates and all that. So,
Person with many talents.
yeah.
So thank you
Thanks,
very
Scott.
much,
You're welcome.
Scott. Thanks. And Scott is working as a center host too, just recently. So we're glad to have him on board. And he and Anne came to our service on March 31st and gave me the idea that we would actually recognize on April the 1st with a plant the search and rescue and first responders. So it was great to have them present for that. Thank you.
You couldn't make the
May the 12th. Yeah, the one at Pier 21.
because we were on search.
Yeah, I got a message from Anne after I got home. Thank you. And then Joan Duggan. Joan, would you like to introduce yourself? If you would come up to the mic, please.
Joan Duggan. I live in Prospect Village, which was once known as Upper Prospect, and my husband and his family, I believe, have a connection to one of the rescuers from Upper Prospect, Patrick Duggan, I believe it was. I've heard the story of the SS Atlantic from my husband when we first got together. I've lived in Prospect probably about 35 years, and it sparked an interest, and then we went to a presentation put on by Bob Chalk at the Terrence Bay Fire Station, Fire Hall, which was really fueled the interest in the SS Atlantic. So I didn't really think about participating in anything. Nora had asked me if I'd be interested in getting involved, and I thought, yeah, okay, this might be a good opportunity. What I can bring to the society, I don't know yet, but I'm willing to learn and willing to help out where I can.
Good.
Thank you very much, Joan. So Joan's brother-in-law is Michael Duggan, and it was that they were rescuers, and also I think it was his great-great-or-great-grandmother, I'm not sure how many greats, it was Mary Duggan. We've learnt a new name of one of the women from Michael, and it's Michael who's been really keen to have the women who were involved in the rescue recognized for what they did, because they got ignored. So thank you very much, Joan, and we're really glad to have somebody from Prospect. And then Mary Reed.
Hello, my name is Mary Reed, and I live in Terrence Bay. I've been here for 20 years, come next year. My family history is on my husband's side. We've taken over the homestead that his parents had for several years. Before that, his grandparents had. We came here from Fredericton. I'm originally from down in Mulgrave toward Cancel in Guysborough County. I graduated with a diploma in ministry as a mature student from Son of Acts, and I became a president and program director for the Fredericton Institute of Christian Studies in Fredericton. And before that, I did a lot of administration duties for the municipal office in Mulgrave, did some administration work for Wolf Offshore and Petro-Canada Offshore, worked in Edmonton for property investments. And since coming to Nova Scotia, back down to this little area here, I've just kind of taken the retirement stage and enjoying my kayaking years and my grandchildren. And I have done some volunteer work for the SS Atlantic and worked with Margaret and Valda and Rose. And just a lot of volunteer work for the church. And I've just decided, after being poked and probed by Nora, that she didn't know I already had it in my mind that I may come back and do some volunteer work, because things were kind of easing up for me. So I'm looking forward to working with the group in some capacity, not sure what. I see a list of things in your brochure. I'm not sure that some of them don't need to be defined for new people that are coming, but I'm happy to work with everyone.
What you can do.
Thanks.
Thank you, Mary. It was fun working with you. Mary and I went, several years ago, to a conference of school social studies teachers, wasn't it? And Mary set up a beautiful display which attracted a lot of attention, but we were last-minute participants, and we didn't get many people come to watch the PowerPoint presentation that I did. It was really fun to work with Mary, and I'm so glad she's come back. So thank you. So that completes this whole list. Now we can have additional nominations from the floor. There are 13 names here. We can have 15. So if there are any more nominations, we can accept those this evening. Or if there are any nominations, the people who might want to come on and replace somebody else so that they can retire. So are there any other nominations? And if there's anybody online who would like to... Sorry. If there's anybody online, Mike, who would like to nominate somebody, they can do so. Ariella?
Yes, I wanted to nominate this person whose name I don't know, but who is very, very helpful, and I think would be very useful and great to have on board. And then I also wanted to nominate Emily Burton, but I'm not sure if she's willing to be nominated.
I did, just to say, I did ask Emily, and she declined, but will help in some way.
My understanding, I'm not yet a member, but
That can be easily fixed. There's a form back there.
yes, I'm happy to be part of it.
Thank you.
It's my wife and we're like...
So
Yeah, you better tell us your
give us the
name
skinny
again.
on us.
I'm Mahbubur Rahman, and We're in Halifax for like 10 years now, but we're moving to Terence Bay. We're in the process of buying a house there. And so looking what's around, I saw this event get in. I was also signed up for the 150 event, but couldn't volunteer on that event as well. I volunteer a lot. I'm part of a lot of non-profit. Currently, I work for the provincial government as a project manager, Department of Community Service. And major volunteering, I am the vice president of PMI Nova Scotia. That's the Organization of Project Managers, and some others. I volunteer a lot. And I think as we are like sitting home in Terence Bay, it's good to be a part of this group. Happy to be here. Thank you.
That's wonderful. Can you come and write down your name for me?
No, we'll get it on his application, so.
Well, I need it to name it.
Oh, okay.
Thank you very much for being willing to join us with all your wonderful skills. That's great. Thank you. Are there any other nominations? I'm pretty sure that Emily does not want to, Ariella.
She's online.
Okay. Does Emily Burton, do you want to stand to be coming on the board? Please text Mike now. Yes or no?
Shirley Jollimore is confirmed she's willing to sit on the board.
Okay, yeah.
Wait for Emily.
So, Emily, it's 902-694-0840 to text your yes or no.
There is a delay on this.
Hmm?
There is a delay on this on YouTube of a few minutes.
Okay.
It's not
Well, we'll just wait a moment then. Are there any other nominations? Are there, a third time, are there any other nominations? I think, Sheila, you said no. Yeah, okay. So has Emily responded?
So there is a delay now.
Yeah, okay.
We can go on and come back to for the
Okay,
vote.
perhaps we should just wait until Emily has responded before we actually vote on this slate of officers. Okay?
So we have two things left. Well, we have this three things left. We have the vote that we're going to come back to. Margaret is going to talk to what's going on for 2023, and then we have to come back to the vote on the directors. Under the Societies Act, not-for-profits have an option. They can retain an auditor to go over the financials and produce an audited report, or with members' approval, basically the members allow the board to skip the audit step itself in favor of the board preparing and presenting a financial report, which in the few years that I've been involved, that's how the society has gone. So it's your decision. The downside of an audited report is that it costs money and we're a not-for-profit, and we're good at that. The upside is that it's a lot less headache for the people on the board to pull one together. And now we've had some exceptional people in the past that have been able to do that without having to go elsewhere. So that's your decision, folks. The recommendation is that particularly we have Hamish, and we have a gentleman there that sounds like he knows what he's talking about and can define the terms and whatnot. You're a project manager, right? Yeah, well, me too, but I know a lot of project managers get into the weeds in the financials too, so. Yes?
With the grants that have come in, I imagine the finances are a lot more complicated.
Yes.
So I'm not sure that waiving the audit, as we have done for decades, is still
Okay, table a motion to that effect, what you'd rather, and then we'll...
Can I just respond to that? That may be true for 2023, but very little money of the grant was spent in 2022. It was mostly what Paddy gave us, and we have been tracking, and you're quite right, we're going to have reports have to be sent in about what has been spent. So the 2023 financial statement will be much more complicated, and it may be that we will need to have, or at least we must make sure that we have professional help as we're doing it. And Hamish has been helping this year. So, but for 2022, there's some money that came in, and that is accounted for here.
Yes, but this...
So-
oh, I see what you're saying.
I don't think that this is 2022's is that complicated. Does that answer your concern? Okay. So would anybody, sorry.
Yeah.
I answered that question.
So the recommendation is that we waive the obligation for an audit in favor of a board-attested audit. Is there a motion to that effect, or is there a motion to retain an auditor to prepare the financials?
I will move for the waiver of an audit. They're extremely expensive, and you're not talking about billions of dollars here.
Thank
Not
you.
here, no.
Is there a seconder to that motion? Moved in second. Is there any more discussion? All in favor of the motion, that being to waive the audit in favor of a board-attested financial report? All in favor signify by raising their hand. Okay, I would declare that passed. Very good. Read an answer for the board.
So, Emily says no.
She said no. Okay, thank you.
Also, a lady named Helen Bosby had shown interest, but has some personal things going on and can't put a name.
That's someone I know, but she's not.
Oh, okay. All right, thank you.
The lady that Mike talked about is a lady who's new to Lower Prospect. She's actively renovating her house, I guess, and she's very interested to get involved in the community, and hopefully she sounds eager from what little exposure I've had to her. Both she and her husband have written to us, but that's another matter.
So that's something for the future.
Yeah.
And we do have another person who's very interested for next year when she has retired, and that will be wonderful too, Lynn Sloan-White. But not this year. So I'm just going to read the names again. So this is our slate for the coming year, 2023, 24, aren't we? Yes.
Well, we're 23, and then there'll be an AGM.
Yeah.
And
Okay, and there probably will be an AGM a whole lot earlier next year. So here are the names again. John Corbett, Mike Roberts, Hamish Malkin, Nora Straps, Valda Kemp, Shirley Jollymore, Walt Straps, Derek Rayner, Gordon Steves, Charlene Loveys, Scott Bulges, Joan Duggan, Mary Reed, and I'm going to try and say your first name, Mahbooba Rahman. Got that one. So thank you. That makes 14 people on our board, which will be just great. So I move the slate of nominations. Is there a seconder? Okay, Ariella, thank you. So all those in favor signify by raising your hands.
okay, declare it.
Right, motion carried.
Yeah, okay.
So thank you very, very much. We're just delighted. I think 14 people is the largest board that we've had in a little while, and it'll certainly help to make the work a lot easier. You will notice that I have retired. I promised my children that I would be through this, but I am here to help with the transition for the 150, whoever is going to be taking that up. So, you know, I'm not just going to disappear. Would you like to just have a quick run through of where we are in 2023? Does anybody want to do that? It just can be really brief. Lynette?
I wonder if I could just thank you very much
Do you want
for your
to,
service.
Lynette, do you want to do it here, please?
Margaret, I'd just like to thank you on behalf of, I'm sure, everybody here and a lot of people who aren't here for your incredible dedication and your work this year on the 150 and for, I don't know how many years of service on the board. Are we looking at 12?
Well, it was
13,
2008
15?
when I came on.
Yeah, quite a long time. I'm proud of what you've accomplished, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Lynette. Thank you all. It's actually been quite a learning curve. I've learned a lot, including new computer skills, because my computer skills were very, very poor. And it's been a lot of fun as well. And I thank all of you for the enthusiasm which so many people put into it. And I've already mentioned some names, so thank you. It's a lot of work, and I want to thank the board of directors too, who've done a lot of work. And I particularly would like to express our appreciation to John for the amount of work that he has done, especially in the last 2 years when Valder's had to take a back seat as treasurer, and he's been juggling far too many hats this past year or so, looking after maintenance and the students, the supervision, and a whole lot of things. And hopefully that work can be kind of redistributed amongst 14 people. I'm sure he'll be glad. I think he wants to get off soon, right?
Yeah, well, my wife will be glad.
Yes, he has a lot of pressure at home too. So,
Margaret,
thank you.
it compares, it pales in comparison to what you've done, so.
Oh, well, no, that's not true.
It does,
necessarily,
yes.
But you've been chair now for a while and you've served on the board for a number of years. So I think we should have a round of applause for John too. Thank you. So,
Could I suggest something?
yeah.
We've got
Get
some
coffee.
munchies back there.
Yeah.
So if Margaret can walk through what 2023 has been with the gala and whatnot, and you help yourself to coffee. And Nora, thank you very much for putting that together. And Darren and Rob, thank you very much for setting up the hall. I think it worked. I was a little skeptical at first, but I think with Mike's help, you've proven that it does work, so that's very good. So do you want to grab yourself a munchie and we'll talk about what 2023 has been like?
Yeah, if you want to come back and sit down just for a few minutes. I'm not planning to take a long time, but you may have some questions about what's ahead, especially with the legacy grant, because work has not really begun on that yet. I need to find the
Okay. I don't know where they are.
Do you need your readers to read this? I want you to read this whole thing. I might be misunderstanding, but just have a look at that message stream from this lady. Oh. She's saying she's got personal things going on, and she can't. just say, I've got personal things going on, I put my name forward, and then I get another message saying it's not fair because just apologise. I just said sorry for that misunderstanding. I haven't seen the phone. So, but the first message was saying she put her name forward, but she's got personal issues going on. And then she said, I said, okay, well, let them know. And now she's just said, should you not voice it to me? I did say, I told her, she said, and now she's saying, no, just tell her apologize and misunderstood. Remember, I think she's done a mission what credentials It is. Like I just said, she said, I work for a high profile law Get her phone number and say, just tell her that you just that's what she replied, John. She's on a mission, I think, to fight. Not looking to fight. She's certainly upset. Because she's upset. I was fine, I passed on the message. I'll go somewhere else. Hey, I'll get to visit throw his head
I will come up here so that I've got the microphone. So if you have any questions about the 2023 doings and what needs to be, what's outstanding, I can tell you a bit more about it. I heard that 2 at least new directors wanted to know more about that. You should have received an email from John yesterday about a pre-meeting that was last night. And if you didn't get it, and it also was a reminder for today, but in that email there was a list of the things the society has to accomplish to maintain its mandate, and also what needs to be done for next year, for this coming year, picking up the pieces, as it were, from the 150. If you haven't got it, we'll see that you get it. Okay, I don't have a copy with me. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. Well, apart from, I mean, the property has to be looked after, the center staffing, the museum itself has to be looked after. There's fundraising, there's communications, which is extremely important. That one of the projects funded by the Legacy Fund is a renewed website. We have a quote on that. What else is there that's normal? All the maintenance stuff of the grounds. Fundraising, activities for the society that may or may not be fundraising, but activities and summer events, that kind of thing. So there's all of that. But what has to be picked up now also is we need 1 or 2 people on that board to take over some responsibility for seeing that reports, which obviously Hamish and I will help write. There are some reports that are due for funding that we have received, and we also have to do the fund. The Legacy Fund covers only 50% of the total cost. We have raised some through other grants mostly, as well as through actually wonderful donation. I should acknowledge and thank Nora Straps and her family and her sisters and all the Donahue family who have contributed, which is probably going to go to the Lower Prospect Memorial. So that's been a very generous personal gift to us. And then there's corporate fundraising to do, and we've got some in kind as well. But all that information will be passed on. So with the Legacy Fund, I'll just tell you quickly, we have funding. The projects that are going ahead now are a memorial in Lower Prospect, and a sculptor has been, was in contact with. Lynette was in charge of that particular project. Probably a big rock of some sort, stone, with some information on it, and there would be community consultation to help actually design that, and it would go at the end of the Prospect Road, the Lower Prospect Road, on a piece of land that HRM owns, and we have their permission to proceed with that. I can't remember the costs of all these things now off the top of my head. In Prospect itself, the Prospect Peninsula Residents Association has approved locating it on their property, and that is to be a mosaic, which will be mosaic tiles, will be made, designed and made by members of the community as a collaborative art project, and there's a studio in Halifax that will fire them and everything, and that's also a project that Lynette Richards is working on. So that can go. There's also a quilt not terribly, one of the cheaper projects actually, but a quilt that will be a particular memorial to the women. And the vision for that is to have a number of discussions with Bob Chalk, the historian, with a textile artist whom we have contact with through NASCAD, and she's ready, I hope, still. All of this was done a year ago. And we have some quilters who are definitely interested in helping to design it and making the squares and putting the quilt together. So that too can begin now, and I'll try and reach out soon to the contacts I have about that one. And that will go in the center. What else? Oh, the center redesign, a new website. There's got to be something else. We've left the Braithwaite studio now. What have I missed? Accessibility, maybe. I think that's part of the redesign. We should really have some kind of proper accessible ramp or pathway, graduated pathway up to the center. So that's definitely one of the things that's there. I can't remember now whether it's a separate item or not. So that funding, actually, we haven't signed the contract yet, but we were told that we could go ahead and get started on these with whatever money we have. We had to do this cash flow, and it's had to be redone as some other things have kind of got dropped. And Hamish is working on that, and we're hoping to get that in within the week or so, so that we can then, what they will do is they'll distribute the money to us, it's called a contribution, in installments throughout the next 2 years. So it'll be 2025, we will still get, 2023, 24, 24, 25 is when that money will come in. And any kind of reinterpretation of the center is a major project. That's going to take time for sure. I think is there anything else I've forgotten, John?
Not necessarily for A150, but the exercise with the church still has to go forward.
The what?
The extension of our land lease.
Oh yes, that's right. That's another thing. Collaborating with St. Timothy, St. Paul's, because we're on their land. We have an arrangement with the parish, and that arrangement has to be renegotiated because it expires in 2025, but we were told we have a letter of intent that will be done because the legacy project required that, although, anyway, that's that. So that has to be done, and that's a board responsibility to follow up on that. And then the Digital Museums Canada, I mentioned that Walt Straps is taking the lead with that one. That is worth about almost $250,000, and that will be paid to SS Atlantic to distribute to the people who are doing the work, which is Stitch Media, who will be contracting Ariella to do the local work. I know what I forgot. It's called Navigating Futures, Deep Mapping the Local. And that too was a project with 2 artists, and it involved a number of different aspects. Some of it was done when the flags were put on the Blue Nose this summer. That was the school project with Atlantic Memorial, which was really beautifully done, and the flags were handed back to the students, and they're going to go back to the school. So that's part of the legacy project as well. That was the other one. And the legacy grant is worth about $250,000, which means another $250,000 has to be raised but some of that has been raised through other grants from Nova Scotia and Arts Nova Scotia, and I think there's another federal grant maybe, and there's some in kind as well. But all this information will be passed on to those who are going to take control of it. And there is some admin money included, so that, the admin money was included specifically in a few of the budgets, but the whole total cannot exceed, I think it's 15% of our expenditures. But it will be possible to engage some part-time people to help with some of this, hopefully, because it's a lot of work. And in 2023, we did engage a wonderful young woman named Sal Falk, who did an excellent job in getting us going back in February. With the, just thinking about the Irish grant, because the first thing we did was we were invited to the St. Patrick's Parade, and that was great fun. Met quite a number of people in the Irish community, and Joan and Nora have built on that relationship because Brian Doherty invited the second in command at the embassy to come and see the center just this past Monday, and then invited us to attend a reception in the evening, and Nora and Joan went on our behalf. And so we've got that connection now, much, much better with the Irish community. The Irish Charitable Society has promised us some funding and have given us funding before, which is really great. The Irish Embassy funding that we got, the ESP program, we have spent most of that, and the final reports have been sent in. That had to be done at the end of July, because that money came through for a certain period of time. We had permission to keep, I think it's almost $2,500 for art installations. And this may be used, we had an idea to use it for a portable kind of display table that we could take places, or possibly it could go towards the quilt, which actually would be great because we've almost got enough money for the quilt. So there's that still outstanding. And then reports have to be made for the amount of money from the federal for the anniversary grant. And there is, we know, a bit of a surplus in that, partly because we kind of ran out of steam in July at the end, or in August, and we had hoped to do one or two things in August or into September, especially down on the waterfront with the Maritime Museum, and we just ran out of energy. So we have asked about keeping that money. We're not allowed to use it towards any legacy funded project, but we can use it for what's related to the anniversary. So we really have to kind of work that out a bit with them. And I'm not sure exactly how much that is, but I think it might be as much as $40,000. Many of the events that we had actually came in under budget. People were very generous with their time and their energy and their fees, and that was really good. One of the things the Irish grant contributed a great deal towards was our May the 12th gala at Pier 21, and that was attended by the Irish ambassador, and it was a really nice event. I think some of you were at that. And we raised money too. We did do a bit of fundraising, so we raised money through an auction that, and yeah, anyway, are there any questions now? John?
What are you going to do with all your free time?
I'm going to sleep, I think. Pick up with my family and friends again and clean my house and my garden. So that's about it. And there are some people that it would be really good to reach out to again, and certainly all the organizations and individuals that we've had contact with this past year, like tourism, Discover Halifax, it's now called Build Nova Scotia, the Maritime Museum, who finally showed some interest last year. They do have a display, but they actually were quite willing to cooperate. We were hoping to have a concert there, and then they suggested the fall, but that hasn't happened. But we need to keep that contact up for sure, and with other museums. There's a lot that we could do, I say we, by looking at what other museums do. And the Association of Nova Scotia Museums has a lot of really good information and run a program which board are invited to participate in. I think we're being told to wrap it up. Yes. So I'll say thank you very, very much for coming and for all your support, and wish our new board members the best of luck for the future. And I hope you're going to meet really, really soon so that we can pass on all this information. And I'm not sure who gets to call the meeting, but soon, I hope, so that all of this transition.
I have the email addresses.
Okay.
Send out to all the new board members and let somebody suggest a date.
Yeah, I know Shirley's not available on Tuesdays.
15 people, 14 people, you're not going to have all.
No, might not be able to get everybody together all the time, but it would be great to have one meeting together. Anyway, thank you. And I also want to acknowledge Hamish for the work that he did for us. We didn't really do that. He's been very helpful, and he's done a lot to trying to sort out this terrible legacy funding budgets. And Nora's been great too. Thank you. Mike has done a lot of work, and Valda's there in the background cheering us on, which has been wonderful. So, and it was wonderful. Walter was involved in the March 31st service that we had, providing his choir, singing some of the music that he had composed, and he and I had great fun together choosing hymns and working out the service, and we were very glad to have a lot of cooperation from St. Paul's to do that. And then Walter died just 3 months later. So he's a great loss to our community. And we've sent out condolences, of course, to Valda, and continue to keep in touch with her. So,
In that light, we have a tradition of a Christmas
concert.
So maybe one option is to seek out someone else that can help.
Yeah, well, hopefully it's just possible that the person who took over Walter's choir might come back. I don't know, but I know who that is. So we'll see. As does Valda, yes. And that has been Valda and Walter's favorite project for many years now. So thank you. Let's wrap it up. Thank you very much. Oh, and if there's a new board member who has not filled out this volunteer application, can I give you one? Leave it on the table, Derek. Scott, you got one, and Joan and Mary, you got one. Did you give one to our new person?
Yeah, I don't know if it's necessary.
Well, yeah, I think.
We've already
No,
got
we
them
need it
wrote
in
in.
writing, and we need them to sign. What? Oh, you want another sheet? Oh, all these people. And I'm sorry, 'cause